Sales is a complicated skill to learn. That's probably why they don't teach it in schools around the world. From dealing with different types of products and services to working with different types of prospects and leads, sales is the one career that will always have you learning and developing. In today's video, I will walk you through one of those complexities and try to break them down as much as possible for you. We will be discussing buyer personalities and how they impact your sales strategy when it comes to the different buyers you will meet on a day-to-day basis. Feel free to continue this discussion in the comments section below. Share situations where you may have encountered different personality types and how you overcame it. Please, meanwhile, hit the subscribe button below, and I will be sure to keep adding more and more valuable content, educational content, so that we keep learning. Hit the thumbs up button so that other people who may be interested in this video may have a chance to watch it as well. With that being said, let's begin. Human beings are emotional creatures, and we have different personalities. Not all human beings are the same. This is the same for the person sitting on the opposite side of you and for yourself, the salesperson. As you go into a meeting, you have to understand that you're dealing with a new human being, different from the one you met 5 minutes ago, an hour ago, 2 days ago. So you have to approach this in a different way. But what are those things that make people different, right? This is what we need to discuss in order for us to enter a room, almost immediately identify those people and say, okay, this person is characterized by this and therefore they are that, and I must deal with them in XYZ way. Of course, the personalities we're discussing today, the 4 key personalities, some people are a blended bunch of both or a blended bunch of all. You can't tell until you sit down and start talking to them. So it's better for us to start revising and start working on our sales pitch and start molding our stories to the different groups of people. The first group I'm going to be talking to you about is the Reds. The groups are characterized by color codes, right? We have reds, blues, yellows, and greens. So if we're going to be discussing, let's start with the reds. Red for fire. These are usually the assertive type, the decision makers, the ones that want to take control of the conversation and want to control the outcome. They're a tough group to handle, especially if you are not in that same group yourself. If you're a storyteller and you love joking around, a red will be a complicated sale for you. You might find yourself going through several meetings with reds and not closing a single sale if you don't learn to control yourself. So, people you'd usually find in the reds are your CEOs, people who manage big groups of people, people who are captains, leaders in their fields. Those are the reds in most cases. They are assertive, they are dominating, and they know what they want. So, how do you deal with a red? Well, you give them what they want. You talk to them in an assertive way. You talk to them directly. You don't beat around the bush or crack jokes during the sales pitch. They ask you a question, you answer it, you move on to the next issue at hand. And this is how you find yourself closing more and more sales with assertive reds. The next group we'll discuss are the blues. The blues are the analytical type. The type with a penchant or a desire to go through the minutest of information. They are the data-driven type. You are selling a product that doesn't have a track record, you most likely never sell to them. They want to know, what's the product made of? Where does it come from? How many people use it? How many success stories do you currently have? What's the highest amount of money the person's selling it has ever made, or the person marketing it, or any information that describes the product or service in a detailed way, barring a fact, putting aside emotion, putting aside chit chat, putting aside jibber jabber. They want to know your product, and you have to have that first-hand product information at the tip of your tongue, right there. If you don't have that information and you have to look for it first, it shows them you don't know what you're selling. And once they lose confidence in the statistics and the information you're giving them, you lose the sale. So it's better for you to understand your product, get a clear picture of what your product is, go through the materials within your product brief, or whatever you have which gives you information about the product or service you're selling, and know it word for word and fact for fact, because you will never know when you bump into the analytical type. Analytical people are usually CFOs, COOs, people who really want to know what they're getting into on a numbers side of things. So brace yourself for that group. Make sure you understand what you're selling, and then go in and close them deals. The next group we'll talk about is the greens. The greens are a happy type. Before we go on, I'd like to share something interesting that I found while scrolling through my web host's website. If you're interested in having a website or have been creating websites for clients, and that means you're constantly on the lookout for domain names, discover a new approach to domain name ownership called Handshake. Handshake is a peer-to-peer network using blockchain technology, like a secure public registry. It means bypassing the traditional organizations and registries that call the shots online, offering you more freedom, control, and security over your domain. The internet is becoming more and more decentralized, and it's amazing to be part of that journey. If you want to learn more about Handshake domains, the link is in the description below. The link is an affiliate link. Thank you. Let's proceed. They enjoy your stories. They want to hear from you. They want to talk to you. You call them on the phone and they're ready to respond to you. They're perfect. You feel like you're going somewhere because you spend a lot of time communicating with the greens. You might see me wearing a green right now, but that doesn't mean I'm a green myself. It's a group of people that are very difficult to sell to because they are not in a rush to buy. They are more in a rush to hear from you. They want to communicate more. So dealing with greens is very complicated because you as a salesperson earn more money when you sell, right? You have to make the sale. You don't make money from the amounts of hours you sit with a client, a potential client. So that's it with the greens. How do you deal with them? If you have a story about how you've ever dealt with someone who likes to talk, or someone the rest of your team considered to be a time waster, put that story in the comment section. I would like to read it. Someone else would like to read it and learn from you. The next group are the yellows. The yellows are similar to the greens. They don't mind having a chat. They don't mind communicating. The only difference between the greens and the yellows is while the greens may enjoy communicating with you, they may put effort into learning about your product. They may Google, whereas the yellows are not so focused on that. They're more into just talk to me. You give me all the information. They would buy based on your information if they trust you. That is another complicated group to sell to because again, you create rapport within the first split seconds of a conversation. They immediately know whether they like you or not. Having the rest of the meeting is just to reinforce to them that they do like you. So they buy more into you, not into the service or product you're selling. Thank you very much for watching up to the end. If you have any input, any feedback for me, put it in the comment section. I'll be glad to read through and we can have a conversation. Cheers.